Welcome to the Soul Touched by Dogs podcast, the show for dog lovers who see dogs not as toys or tools, but wise souls worth our respect and care. I'm Anke Herrmann, and I'm your host. I talk to awesome humans, people who do great work for dogs and their people. So come and join us for today's conversation. Hello and welcome, Ellen. I'm super happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Anka. It's really good to be here.
Awesome. So, well, before we get started, I would love you to tell people where in this beautiful world you are based.
So I'm located in Gold Hill, North Carolina. That if you know North Carolina, it's mostly the center of the state, northeast of Charlotte. And I live on 11 magical acres, and there's a labyrinth here, there's a vortex here, hiking trails. I have 5 Airbnbs on site, as well as, when they're not rented for retreats, they're rented for Airbnb. And it really is a magical place. A lot of times storms go around me and I'm just sitting here. I didn't lose power for the last hurricane, so I feel like it's blessed on many levels.
Wow, wow. So basically, in short, you're saying you're in paradise.
Paradise, yes.
I love it. So now we met in the most delightful circumstances because we've just published, well, not just the two of us, there were more people involved. We're getting onto that. But my fur baby wrote this book and you wrote the foreword to it. So that's in the project, in the context of this project, that's how we met.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear, how did you hear about the project? How did you, what sparked you to get involved?
Well, I tell you, I have my LinkedIn picture has a picture of me with Murphy on my lap. And this woman who must have been friends with Lonnie was the brainchild behind creating this book that we did together. And she wrote to me and said that she knew this woman, Sally Good, who I connected with on LinkedIn, said, I know this woman that's looking for authors to be a part of this book that she's doing about pets, and it's called Pawthers. And I was just captivated from the moment I heard the word Pawthers. I'm like, what? And coming from a dog's point of view, and I'm always speaking. I mean, Murphy, I usually am always saying what he's saying. I'll have a voice for him. I just am always talking. Murphy is my dog. So that's how I found out about it. And I contacted Lonnie from there.
Oh,
And
I love that. See, I had a similar reaction because, I mean, you would have seen it when you booked yourself in for the podcast. Like I call them their conversations with awesome humans, right? So, when I'm seeing Pawthers, like it does have my attention 100% for sure.
I know. And I love the word possum too. You know,
Yeah, and it's so spot on.
yeah.
So what was what was your experience? Because your perspective is a little bit different, perhaps from I don't know from the four of us writing, but you wrote a story as well. So you wrote the foreword. So how does
Right.
one go about writing a foreword? Like that feels kind of hard for me to as well. I don't know. I've never written one.
Well, it was my first time, so it was just kind of like I was given the number of words to use, and I've told the story about how Murphy arrived here, which is really my belief that this woman told me you can call your dog back in. She told me she'd had 3 dogs in this lifetime. And so I put a call out to the universe for I've always had terriers. So I put out there for one of my past 3 favorite terriers to come back to me. And 2 months later, Murphy showed up on a porch in June of 2012. And it was literally locking eyes with him, and we've been inseparable ever since. I think he was about 2 when he arrived, but I remember we had a drum circle that day, and he just was just completely chill. I have a yurt that we were doing drum circles in, and he chilled out, like he was there only all the time, like he'd always been there. There was never like getting used to anything. And I did make an agreement, since he arrived off leash, that he could be off leash all the time. I'm in gravel road, middle of nowhere, you know, as long as he came home. And so he has always been, because I think that freedom of being able to come and go. So he's usually like my shadow. So it's like if he's not arm's distance from me, where is he? And that's
Wow.
him choosing to always be following me. So
That's, I mean, you think if somebody has trouble, it's almost like that whole idea of training a recall seems to be like totally ridiculous in that context, right? So it's like that's not something you've ever had to worry about, right?
right. No.
Mm.
I mean, he arrived, at 2, potty trained, everything trained. Just like it was so delightful. It was such a magical connection. And I really feel he has the temperament of a dog named Rasta that used to work with me every day when I sold flower. I had a flower cart for 4.5 years on a street corner in Portland, Oregon, across the country from here. And he went to work with me every day. And his temperament is very much like Murphy's. So is it him? I don't know. But I love that story about the woman that told me this. She said she's had the same dog 3 times. Every time she saw him, that he would play in his water bowl with his front paws to confirm to her that it was him again. But she said she always recognized him by looking in his eyes anyway, but that was the confirmation. So I was blown away. I've never seen a dog play in its water bowl with its paws. So
That's
yeah.
incredible. That's incredible. She reminds me of a book I read. I can't remember, like, yeah, I don't know, it's a long time ago, but it was basically, several stories of a dog, of different dogs, in different, like one grows up with a family of little kids, the other one is just abandoned in the dirt somewhere, the next one has this asshole of an owner who's kind of really harsh with him, and so it's almost, and you go all these, and it's almost like one ends and then it's like, and it's almost like the same, like you're kind of a little bit irritated while you're reading it because you're a little bit like, oh, so he just got dropped off school and now it's like something, and then throughout the book it becomes apparent that it's actually always the same soul, it's always the same dog
Right.
having
Yep.
like these different lives in
Yep.
different kind of circumstances. So that like really reminds me of what just
Yep.
popped to mind when you were saying that. It's so yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one. We'll never know for sure, but I think
I
we'll know
know.
enough to
Mhm.
um, to kind of
Yeah.
really feel it.
So whatever, he's the most awesome possum dog I've ever had. So that's like, I'm blessed and
That
grateful. He's 14 and healthy. He still can walk 3 miles a day without any effort. So I'm good with
wow.
that.
Wow. I mean, I guess having this, you think when I'm picturing, and I've seen just photos of your space there, and I'm like, well, okay, if you're a dog off leash there, coming, with that agency, with that, like, yeah, you get to do whatever the heck you want to do. I was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, not hard to see why you would hang around for a long time. Right? So it's seems to be like a heavenly life for a dog, but
Yeah.
for people as well, right? Tell me a little bit more about what kind of retreats you run there, like who comes there, what are people looking for when they come to your place?
I would say a lot of the people, they put on yoga retreats, meditation retreats. Also, we do plant medicine retreats. There's a person that comes all the time for that as well. And, a lot of times it can be like family get-togethers. There's a lot of wedding venues around here. So a lot of times the bridal party and the groom's parties will stay in 2 different houses. Or yeah, it's a great place, especially for kids, because literally I'm on a gravel road, so they can really run around and play without you don't have to have fear about are they going to be okay outside. So
I love that. And you were sharing something during the writing weekend we had, that you've had kind of dogs who came all sort of anxious from city life, and
yep.
yeah, tell me how they experience
Well,
a few
we're so,
days.
I think we're so much like our animals. And so if we are in a state of stress, if we live in the city and we're stressed out, and our dogs pick up on that, and they really mirror, I think, our emotions so much. And I literally have seen dogs come here and they're like all hyped up and they're on a leash and they're pulling and they're la 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 la. And I used to have two other dogs on the property who were also extremely chill, like Murphy is. And I think the dogs would look at them and they were, just wandering, none of them on leashes ever. And the dogs, I think, would just go, "What? Like, there's another way I can be in the world." Because they didn't know that. They're in the city, they're on their leash, they're walking, they're passing other dogs on leashes. There's no freedom just to play and to be, and that they don't have to be all anxious and stuff. And I literally have seen dogs completely chill out and mellow. And I have four dogs on the property right now, and I've told them to go and sit over there because two of them are German Shepherds, and the other one, I forgot. I'm rescuing them from there's huge devastation up in the Asheville area from the hurricane. And they're from Black Mountain, and they still don't have electricity or water and stuff. So they've been here a couple of weeks now, and they have four dogs with them. So I want them to take them and just sit. I told her just sit by the vortex with them and just see if they energetically just start mellowing out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I started off like when I was living in when I had the first couple of dogs. I
Yep.
was living in the historic part of Granada in this little town here, and it
I've
was,
been to
and
Granada. It's
well, then
beautiful.
you know what it's like. It's beautiful,
Beautiful.
and Mr. Hypersensitive Kai wasn't doing well, and it took
Yeah.
me a while to catch on because he was just like, as you saying, like like a little like as
Yeah.
if you'd had like a wire up his butt the whole time. He was like, and so he could never, and he didn't really and that was the thing. Like I didn't even, and it's funny actually. Like I talk about that in the book. It's like I didn't realize, and certainly he didn't realize that there was a different way of being
Yeah.
until we went on a holiday where we had this house with a garden, and there was room, and there was
Yeah.
plants. It wasn't just like cobblestones and walls, and it made just such a massive difference that. I mean, that's the thing. It works for us, but hell, it works for dogs, right? To
Yeah.
kind of have that time and space to take in the environment and be able to move freely. It's just life changing. And it's
And
almost like, now I go back, and that's the thing, like I'm living somewhere where it's like super chill, super laid back,
yeah.
nature and ocean. And so I go back to Granada now and I'm like, well, I'm feeling kind of all tense. Like I like literally, I never felt it when I was there. If I go back to Granada or like bigger places, it's like, okay, this is all right for a day or two, but I could not live here anymore because I think you just sort of get used to a different energy and
Yeah.
around. So do you do like retreats that are specifically for, people with like stressed out dogs or
No,
stressed out people with dogs or something? I mean, you could.
I think that would be something that I should look into. I'm doing a women's empowerment retreat. That's a retreat that I personally and a friend and I put on twice a year. And so I have that going on. But I think a dog one, a dog and owner, are you totally stressed? Like come for the weekend and just watch because labyrinths also are used for dog training. And if you walk a labyrinth with the dog, it balances the both hemispheres of the brain because you're going left to right and winding. And that a lot of times I've heard they use labyrinths for dog training to help them
Oh,
calm down and balance out their brains. So that could be we could do a labyrinth walk with the dogs. So thank
yeah.
you for that idea, Anka. I think
Because
that,
I think I mean I think there's several kind of things you can address because one of it's this like, yeah, if your dog's stressed, chances are you're not chilled out either. So there's that. And the other part is if if I'm now going and thinking, oh yeah, that retreat, that would be lovely. Yeah, but now I have to find somewhere for the dogs,
yes.
right? So then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like, I probably won't go to the retreat because if that means now I have to find like a kennel or a doggy hotel or somebody I trust, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not easy with that.
Yeah.
So it's like if there was a retreat where it says, well, okay, you can come here
Your dog.
to ground yourself, to do whatever the thing, but like bring your dog, and and reconnect to nature and kind of calm your whole nervous. So like I'd be on in that car so fast you couldn't look twice, because it does give me space to be with the dogs, not just to have the dogs around, but to actually be with them and be with them in nature. It sounds like most delightful to me. And
Yeah.
I would guess there probably would be other people.
I love it. Well, I'm going to put that idea out there because I love that. I think that I hadn't even thought of that, but I have witnessed it. And I know
Mm,
people love to be able to go on vacation with their dog. I mean, I love being dog friendly because
yeah.
I've always been a dog person. I never had kids. And I've just always, most people that travel, I'd say almost everyone that travels with their dog, the dog is well behaved. You're not going to be traveling with the dog that you have to worry about only all the time. I mean, some people do, but it's like majority of people traveling with their pets, the pets they're well maintained, they're well kept, so I've had no issues I've been here 18 years and
Mm,
I've always been pet friendly.
yeah. But I think like really having that focus on, so what's on offer. It's not the yoga, it's almost like what you come here for is quality time with your dog,
Yeah,
in nature.
yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
think it's a good idea. I love it.
And the
I
thing
would
is, you can always tack on a yoga class or like a meditation. Like you can do
yeah,
these things, but almost like
the
bring
main
the
focus.
the objective, the whole thing. The reason people come is to spend
Yeah,
quality time with their dogs. And it's like if you're busy, busy city person.
yeah. I love that, Anka. Thank you for that idea. I mean, I keep looking at this because this collaboration with this book of meeting everyone. I mean, and I love the intimacy of it being basically, is it five or six of us, right?
Yeah,
Total.
with Lonnie, you and us four. Yeah, it was just six of us, which I thought was beautiful.
I did too. At first I was like, oh, we need to have more writers. And it's like, no, we don't.
No.
It's like perfect. It's divinely perfect. And everybody, to me, everybody's energy just matched so beautifully that it just wove this beautiful picture of creativity. And every time I was on, just tapping into the Zoom where everybody was, I just felt enlightened and just energized from just the magic that was created by the energy of everyone that
We
chose
felt
to.
that too. Totally, totally. And it was almost like, what I found really amazing was when we met last on Saturday, right? So it was
Yeah,
like I looked back on my calendar and I'm thinking, I had that first call with Lonnie like 2 weeks earlier.
yeah,
It almost felt like as if we'd been in this tight-knit group for a long, long time. Like it didn't feel, yeah, it was that from stranger to family in this like really
instantly.
condensed kind of space. Yeah.
And I love when that happens. And what was
Mm,
beautiful about it was like we all felt the same energy of that.
yeah.
It's like, okay, here we are, strangers, but not strangers. We're family now. We've been together 5 minutes and we're family.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, animals do that. Like dogs and cats really help with that. I think that they have a lot to do with that. I
yeah,
remember when I first got Leo, it was like within 2 weeks, I'd met more of my neighbors than in the 6 months before that. It was just me. Like nobody was interested in meeting me. But when I had a cute little puppy there, oh my
yeah,
God, so, boom, conversation. I think the connection where we had that golden thread of, you know, love and lessons and
yeah,
loss sometimes not, but we've all had experiences of loss in some form. So I think
some,
there was this really that the stories were different. Like we're like extremely different when you think about it, like the way we're all different places, like really different types of personality as well, different writing styles, which I
yeah,
like too, and also the book's not that big. If it's just,
yeah,
you think you don't have to go through like 500 pages of people
yeah.
waffling on about the thing, right? So it's these short, yeah, it's like not this drawn out. It's a really quick read, and you can kind of get the tissues out really
Yeah.
fast.
I mean, it's a quick read, and I think, basically any dog lover, animal lover will be inspired, and it opens your heart, and it doesn't matter the length of it. It's just like, oh my God, these are fantastic stories, and I feel inspired, and I love this book, and I want to share and give it to my best friends, because any dog lover would love it. I mean, just in my
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah,
So
and mine too. And my hope really is that people read through this and think, oh, almost like I'll never look at my dog the same again, because that sense of, yeah, like they get a lot more than we give them credit for,
yeah,
so I think, yeah, if I had one wish for the book, it's like, yeah, I would want people to look at their animals with more, you know, call
or
it more respect,
and I think
more
what
admiration, perhaps.
yeah, you said at one point, Anka, was that the whole thing about that we as humans think that dogs should strictly learn our language, but really looking at it is like they're our teacher. We get to learn their language and learn their cues, and just because we're humans doesn't mean we're the most evolved race, and they have a lot to teach us. I
Yeah,
mean, they are the epitome of what unconditional love and forgiveness looks like. And
yeah,
those are two absolute spiritual practices to me that is just like, are you, it's like they're the great example.
yeah.
And
I
there's
couldn't agree more.
that in English, dog is God spelled backwards. Hello, you
Yeah,
know,
no, no coincidence there. Yeah. I mean, and that's like, look, this very thing that, hey, they've got way more to teach us than to learn from us. That's at the heart. That's to spread that message. That's why I created Soul Touched by Dogs. That's where that's what that's all about, really. That's what's
I
at the heart
I'd
of it. So
never
that's
heard
why.
that. And I love that. I think that is just brilliant.
Mm.
I do. I just love it. So
Well, thank
thank
you so much. Where can people go and find out more about you and get in touch and, come to your doggy retreat?
you. Um, you can look at my website, sacredgroveretreat.com, but I can send you, if you want me to send you, I mean, you can send me a message on there, it says contact or send a message or whatever. Or I can also, I'm on LinkedIn, Ellen Whiteside on LinkedIn. And that's how people can get in touch with me. And I'd love to have
Awesome.
anyone come with their pet, because I am pet friendly and I'm having a special right now. So
Ooh.
if you complimentary, complimentary night stay. If you stay 3 nights, you get the 4th night free. And on the back, which is hard to see, is the list. It has a picture of all the different places to stay.
Ooh,
But
awesome, awesome. Do you have like this in an electronic format, or do I have that, or can you send it to me? Then I can include it in the show notes.
okay, I'll take a picture and send it to you.
That would be awesome. Because then it's like, because I don't know how it's gonna come out on the video, whether that's gonna be clear and big enough for people to
I don't think
scan
it'd be
in.
clear.
So if you have it, then we'll, obviously the links, everything. If you watch it on YouTube, it's gonna be below, and on the podcast, it's gonna be in the show notes, of course. So we're gonna make it easy. Get in touch with Ellen, and like take a time out in this magical, magical place. Thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to connect with you again.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review so other dog lovers can find the show. If you haven't already, head over to soultouchedbydogs.com and sign up for weekly doggy cuteness, tips, recommendations, and personal stories to warm your dog-loving heart. And if you know a awesome human you think I should interview, I'd love an introduction. Email me at Anke, that's ANKE, @soultouchedbydogs.com.